What it do? 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 What it do when it's doing it? Oh boy. What is going on, y'all? A couple things I've been thinking about a little bit. First, I got to get on these Indiana. You know, what Cignetti is doing at Indiana is great this year, but he brought a lot of transfers from James. What was it? James Madison. He brought a lot of transfers, plus the guys that you already have that are veterans on the team. But to sustain dominance, he has to recruit better. Indiana's not in the top 50 of recruiting for 2024. 2025, I think they're in the top 40. So he's going to have to hit the portal super hard again, because he's not going to be able to sustain with those recruits. I was going at it with an Indiana fan on Maize and Blue Review, talking about Michigan won't be beating Indiana anytime soon. Boy, please. Y'all barely beat a bad Michigan team. Give me a break. You got to build up recruiting classes, just like what's his name? Mel Tucker. What happened with Mel Tucker? He thought he could build his teams off the transfer portal. That's not sustainable to keep building your team off of transfer portal guys, because they're usually only there for 1, maybe 2 years, then they're gone. You have to stack up some recruiting classes, some good or great recruiting classes. So right now, Cignetti is the darling of the Big Ten in college football, but he has to get recruits to sustain it. You can't sustain it off the transfer portal. Who should Michigan get in the transfer portal? I'm not sure just yet. I haven't been paying attention to it, honestly. I haven't deep dived into what players are already entered or will enter. I haven't did a deep enough dive to talk on it. But yeah, so the Indiana fan, I had to get on him. You talking nonsense. Talking about, would you rather have Sharon or Cignetti? I mean, of course I'd rather have Cignetti, but that doesn't change the fact that the recruiting classes aren't there yet. That don't change the fact. People always want to move the goalpost. The fact of the matter is, you don't have good recruiting classes to sustain it. No matter that he's a better coach than Sharon. That's a fact. But right now, Sharon is at Michigan and he's getting recruits. Right now, Sharon is killing it in recruiting. I just looked at Indiana's recruiting for 2024, 2025. 2025 is like the 40th rank. I don't know what they got in 2026 yet. I didn't look yet. So he has to get the recruits plus the transfer portal. So they're gonna take a step back. They'll take a step back next year, and then if he ain't got the recruits 2026, they're gonna take a big step back. They might take a big step back next year because they had an easy schedule this year. He gonna say, but they played Michigan. Okay, I don't care. Michigan ain't good this year. I'm supposed to. Oh yeah, you're right. They did play a tough schedule. They did play Michigan. Boy, this ain't Michigan from last year. Michigan ain't good this year, so that don't help your schedule. You trying to make it seem like that helps your strength of schedule. Boy, we trashed this year. That don't help you. And then you made my point. We ain't good this year, and y'all still struggle with us. What up, my guy? What up? Indian Vandy made good portal moves. I don't know if it lasts. That's the thing. That's the thing. It's about sustaining it. It's about sustaining. Because he was talking about, he was saying that they were going to keep beating us like consistently. Boy, you got to get that in recruiting. You got to get them recruiting numbers up, and you got to keep hitting the portal hard, you know. So, and with Michigan's wallets opening now, man, get out of here, boy. Get out of here. But what else? Somebody else had something on my mind. Practice. The bowl games. The bowl game. You know, people keep talking about this 15 practices, the bowl game. We need the practices. And I do hear you. Like, you always want to practice. That's not to be said. You always want to practice, learn, being able to learn and practice. But this is my thing. Practices mean something, of course, but I think people are overvaluing those practices. This is my opinion. I seen Scarlet and Blue, Garrett and Bryce talking about it. We need those practices. And I'm not saying I don't want to play a bowl game because I don't want to see Michigan lose again. I don't care about that stuff. 2020, I wanted us to play the game against Ohio State, knowing we were probably going to get our doors kicked in. I don't care about losing or winning. That doesn't bother me. I mean, it bothers me, but it doesn't, don't play the game because I don't want to watch us lose. That's not what it's about for me. It's not about that. It's about getting a jump on the off season. That's what it's about. That's what it's about. Getting the jump on the off season. Your portal guys that you want to get, recruiting, the guys that you need to fire, the guys that you need to hire. It's about getting a jump on that. While everybody else, all the other top teams for the most part, they're preparing for the playoff in their bowl games, while you're getting the work in for you're getting your off-season work in. That's what it's about. Because I don't want to hear no excuses. We got a late start on the season. We got a late start. That's what it's about. Because I don't want to hear no excuses. Ain't no excuses for Sharon next year. Not for me. I don't believe in excuses for grown men. So that's what it's about. Now, let's go in even further in this. Remember Jaden Davis was killing it in bowl practice? JJ was giving him praise and all that? Y'all remember that? The practices? Them extra practices? Jaden Davis is looking good, man. He looks like he's almost ready. Is he ready or is he not ready? This year they act like he ain't ready. Or is it the parents? We don't know for sure, so I'm not going to take that too far. Practices. We had a bye week. We had a bye week. So that's basically 2 weeks to practice. A bye week, then your regular game prep week. What did we look like after those two weeks of practice? What did we look like? Look like we didn't practice at all. Look like we didn't practice at all. So, when I say those practices don't mean that much to me, the proof is in the pudding. People act like I just be making stuff up. The proof is in the pudding. We're sitting there have bye weeks. We have bye weeks and we look worse. Look like we didn't practice anything. So, point being, forget that. Get to work. Get the staff. Get your portal guys. Get to work on the off season. My last point on this. Practice is great, but this is football. Once you know the way you're supposed to do things, the practice drills, football is a sport where most of your skill positions, most of it is footwork. You can go get better at the park. I'm just telling you what I know. This ain't some fan theory or something. This is what I know. You can get better at the park. You can get better on your technique at the park. Some cones, and some cleats, and you can get better at football. This is something I know. This ain't no fan theory. This is what I know. You can get better at the park. So, as far as having to have these practices, I'm good. Because I'm telling you, he needs that time to do what he has to do. Sharon needs that time to go on and do what he has to do. He too lost right now. You need to get the staff, the portal, get a jump on all of these teams. We just saw it last year. While we were playing a national championship, Ohio State had already pretty much got Judkins. While we're playing the national championship, they got Judkins. You know why? They had a jump on the offseason. Yeah, they played a bowl game, but they still had a jump on us because we were still playing games. So you can get a jump on everybody. Maybe I'm crazy. I don't know what I'm talking about. I want this to get a jump on the offseason. Now, if we beat Ohio State and get a bowl game, that's great. I mean, we could beat Northwestern and get it. Now, if we get it, I'm not going to complain. I'm just saying what I would like to see for those specific reasons. It's never about I don't want to play a game. We'll lose, so I don't want to play a bowl game. Man, I don't care about that. I grew up getting whoopings. Getting a whooping ain't nothing to me. Getting a beating ain't nothing to me. I grew up getting beatings or getting whoopings. That ain't nothing to me. So us playing the bowl game and getting our head knocked in, that don't mean nothing to me. That's just a part of life. That's just a part of life. You know? So that's my take on it. You know? I don't care about losing or losing the bowl game. No, I want a jump on the off season. So ain't no excuses. But yeah. What else? Somebody. Oh, the OSU fan. I had an OSU fan say I said OSU was terrible the other day, which I didn't. He just got in his feelings. And I said Northwestern played kind of good against Ohio State, but then I said Ohio State isn't playing as well as they think they are. And for whatever reason, he thought I was talking about the team. Boy, I'm talking about the fans. I don't know what the hell the team is thinking. You really got in your feelings. Like I know what the team is feeling. Boy, I don't know what your team, the players on the team is feeling. I'm talking about the fans, bonehead. You might have thought how do you know what the players are feeling? Boy, you tripping. You tripping, brother. But there's a reason, there's a method to everything I say. There's usually a method to my madness and what I'm talking about. You know, and you can watch a video of mine and then you hear me say a statement and then you just start typing and don't listen to me elaborate the next 5 minutes on why I said that. So the reason why I say OSU fans think that they're playing better than they are, it's in the proof is in the pudding, brother. You've beaten You beat Northwestern and Purdue in dominating fashion, I guess you would say. But those are garbage teams. They're garbage. You struggled against Penn State. I know Garrison said y'all dominated them. Yeah, I wouldn't call that dominating. I wouldn't call that dominating. It was a battle. It was a battle. I mean, they jumped on y'all early. Y'all fought back, took the lead, but it was still a battle to the last like 4 minutes, or what, 3 or 4 minutes when y'all stopped them. It was a battle. Nebraska, it was a battle. Nebraska ain't that good. So that's like y'all saying, oh, Oregon struggled against Wisconsin. Okay, y'all struggled against Nebraska. Same thing. And then y'all lost to Oregon. So if I'm looking at y'all for the talent that you play, I can't say how good you actually are playing, because you ain't played nobody in 2 weeks. And when you did, you were still, it was a battle. It was a struggle bus. That's just not dominant to me. Now, if you want to say that about Oregon, be my guest. I don't care. Don't make no difference to me. Splitting hairs. We splitting hairs. But I think some of the point being, I think some of the flaws that you showed weeks ago, I think they're still there. You just ain't played nobody good enough to exploit them. That's just my opinion. I think those flaws are still there for you. You know? And this, I'm bringing this up because he wrote this message all mad about my take on them the other day. I said that OSU was terrible. Like, bro, come on, you just making stuff up. He said because I said teams, any given Saturday a team can kind of lose. He said Vandy beats good teams all the time. Speaking of the Vandy beating Bama. No, they don't. What are you talking about, bro? This is the first year we've seen Vandy beating teams like that. Like, what are you talking about? You really got in your feelings about me talking about Ohio State the other day. And a lot of Ohio State fans, they don't want you to say anything negative about them, even if it's true. You know? I said Jack Sawyer and JTT wouldn't be that this year, and they ain't that this year. I said that in the offseason. They said, Aiden Hutchinson, he turned into a great pass rusher. Oh, okay. Well, I mean, everybody has the opportunity to get better in the offseason. That still don't mean you're going to turn into that. And they didn't. You know, right or wrong. But let's see what's going on Michigan-wise. Michigan-wise, same stuff. Northwestern, hey, I'm not guaranteeing we beat Northwestern. I'm going to keep it real. I'm not guaranteeing we beat them. Oh, I appreciate the $50 super sticker, Town Health Services. Is that Dom? Is that your profile? I appreciate it. If it's not Dom, whoever it is, I appreciate that. But it's not guaranteed that we'll beat them. I mean, you would think that we would, coming off a bye week, and you know, having more talent than Northwestern, that, you know, that we would just kind of dominate them and beat them. But we haven't played in a dominant fashion all year. We haven't played it in a dominant way all year. So, and last time we had a bye week, we came out looking worse after the bye week. So I can't guarantee that we're going to come out looking good against Northwestern. You would think that we would, but I'm not. Hey, like I say, the proof is in the pudding. We haven't been looking good. We haven't looked good out of a bye week. You know, the defense has shown the defense has shown signs of life though. So if the defense shows up, you would think we'd be able to get out of it, come away with the win. Plus, I believe we're at home. So you would think so. But I don't know if I want to say this. Every time I build up some faith in Wink, he seems to let me back down. So I guess the defense gonna play well. I'm not gonna get too hopeful, Wink, because you always seem to let me down when I put faith in you. But it's really about the offense, bro. It's really about the offense. Show us you got something. Show us something. Because I want that Ohio State game. I have faith that Wink, I'm going to stop saying that because every time he lets me down. I think that Wink will be able to do something against Ohio State to keep us in the game. I think he will. So I need Campbell and Moore to put something together to give the defense a chance to sustain some drives against Ohio State. I want this one against Ohio State. I want this one real bad. I want this one real bad because they would be so devastated if they lose to this Michigan team that, man, you know how good of a Christmas that'll be? Because just watching a podcast and the tearing each other down and tearing Ryan Day down, oh my God, it would be so priceless. Woo, you talking about the Grinch stole Christmas. Man, if Sharon was able to find a way to beat them this year, it would be beautiful, boy. It would be beautiful. You talking about trolling and just, man, I want this one. Because they done already guaranteed it for themselves. They done guaranteed it. You know? So, I want to see Sharon start it off with Northwestern, that you have an idea on how to beat Ohio State. And let me touch on this because Dom was saying that Sharon Moore, they haven't fired Kirk Campbell because he's the scapegoat. And they want him to lose, you know, to look bad like he's been doing. I mean, it's him. But that Ohio State game is just too important to me. It's too important. I mean, that's the last game of the year. So regardless, bro, I'm putting it all on the line to win that game. I don't care what they say. I'm calling that game if I'm Sharon Moore. I'm calling that game. I'm calling it. It's too important to let Kirk Campbell be the scapegoat. Because this is the thing. What if Wink holds Ohio State to like 20 points or something? If he holds them around there, that's a winnable game to me. 17, 20, 23. That's a winnable game. You know what I'm saying? So if you were to just let Kirk Campbell call the game and we end up with 14 and they win 14-23 or something. Nah, bro. That's not acceptable to me. That's not acceptable. You got to call that game. You got to call that Ohio State game. I don't care what the higher ups say. Forget them. If you're gonna fire him, you fire him. I don't need no scapegoat. He garbage. We done seen enough of it. He garbage. But I'm not just giving up on the Ohio State game. Oh, I'm gonna let him call it so he can be the scapegoat. Dang, hell no. I don't know what type of thinking that is. I don't know what type of thinking that is. I honestly hope that's not true, because that's not good to just, we're gonna make him the scapegoat to save you, Sharon. You know what I'm saying? That's not good. We'll make him the scapegoat. He's garbage. He's not a scapegoat. He's trash. We've seen Sharon Moore call plays before. He's not great, but he's pretty good. He was good with the talent. Either way, I'm not just giving up on the offensive side of the ball and leaving Kirk Campbell around so he can be the scapegoat. That don't make sense to me. And I'm not saying that this isn't what they're doing. I'm saying it just doesn't make sense to me. If he's trash, fire him. You know? Sharon Moore's the head coach. If he's not cooking as the offensive coordinator, okay, that's fine. That's fine. He doesn't have to be, he's the head coach. He doesn't have to be the offensive coordinator. Regardless, we still got to bring in an offensive coordinator next year. So, I don't know if that's what they're doing. It don't make sense to me still. Now, I'm not giving up on that Ohio State game. Sharon, you got to call that game. Because if Wink puts a masterpiece together against Ohio State, which it's possible he could, it's possible, or gives you a chance, a fighting chance, don't just let it go because you didn't fire Kirk Campbell, bro. I don't like that. Stuff like that bothers me. Because you got defensive guys fighting their butts off that could sit it down and go pros. Kenneth Grant, Mason Graham, even Josiah Stewart. Them dudes are probably first round picks. Well, Kenneth Grant and Mason are. Josiah might end up a first round pick. Them boys, they can shut it down. They putting their body on the line and fighting, and we keeping Kirk Campbell calling plays so he can get fired when we know he's gonna get fired. What? That don't make sense to me. This don't make sense. But what else? What else? You know, retaining the roster. And retaining the roster, that's part of what I was talking about with the get not playing a bowl game. Retaining the roster also. You got to make sure some of these players don't go nowhere. Derek Moore. Maybe you want to convince some of these other guys to stay. Barham, Heisman, Brandon Hillman. We need him. Make sure to keep him around. He's a headhunter. We need that. We need a headhunter in our life. You know what I'm saying? So all those type of guys, we got to retain the roster also. The stud pieces that we have. But what else? Heisman. As far as Heisman goes, I think it's I think it's Travis Hunter's to lose. Maybe Dylan Gabriel. Maybe Dylan Gabriel. He's putting up pretty good numbers. They're good numbers. They're not great. Like, he don't got a lot of touchdowns. You know, Heisman, for a quarterback, Heisman is touchdowns. You need a lot of touchdowns to win it. You know, for running backs and quarterbacks, even receivers, you need a lot of touchdowns. You know, Travis Hunter is trying to do what Woodson did. You know, and even Woodson wasn't doing what Travis Hunter is doing. You know, Travis Hunter is basically starting at receiver and corner. There's a reason, and I know some people don't like him because he's on Colorado. They're so braggadocious, the bravado with Dion. But best believe, what Travis Hunter is doing, he deserves the Heisman. He deserves it for what he's doing. There's a reason you don't see college players at this level doing what he's doing, because it's not easy at all. Not at this level, not at that level. To start at receiver and corner and actually be good at both of them. It's not easy at all, you know. So he really deserves it, you know, because he's a difference maker for them. He's a real difference maker for them, and he's good. He is a stud, you know. Woodson played a little bit of offense, and he was doing punt return, you know. So he was just, you know, all three phases: defense, some plays on offense, getting touchdowns, plus special teams. You know, you had Chris Gamble doing it also for Ohio State, but he didn't play that much offense, you know. But he was a stud too. He was a stud. Chris Gamble was a stud. Genty at Boise State, he's got about 1,700 yards and 20. I think he's got like 24, 23 TDs already. That's a lot. Blake had 27, I believe, last year. And Blake, you know, we won the championship, so we played, 2 more games than most teams. So he's putting up numbers, but you need those high profile games, you know, which that'll help Dylan Gabriel's case, you know. What me and Garrison were arguing about, I think me and Garrison, he was saying Bo Nix, he was saying Dylan Gabriel is an upgrade from Bo Nix this year. That still ain't, and somebody else was trying to argue with me about this. That still, he still hasn't shown to be an upgrade. As far as numbers go, he still hasn't shown that. Bo Nix had like 50 touchdowns last year. I think 51, I want to say. Gabriel's at like 30 something. He got a ways to go still. He got a ways to go. Now, he might win a championship, so you could say as a team they had a better year. But as far as a statistical season, you can't say that. I mean, it's a different year, so they're facing different teams. They were in the Pac-12 last year. Now they're in the Big Ten. So it's a difference. But as far as statistically, he ain't that. Bo Nix threw like 2 interceptions last year. It might have been 3. It was either 2 or 3. Bo Nix was a monster last year. Nothing you can say will go against it. It's just a fact. Oh, well, what else is going on in Indiana. What we want? Indiana, Ohio State. Indiana, Ohio State. The matchup, and this seems to be the matchup when most of the times that Ohio State plays a team that's has a pulse. The matchup is usually, to me at least, Ohio State's defense against the other team's offense. So Indiana's offense against Ohio State, what will they be able to do? Will they be able to consistently move the ball and get those big chunk plays against Ohio State's defense? That's the question. You know, well, against Indiana, I guess that goes. And against Indiana, I can't say that Indiana seems to have a good defense. They have a pretty good defense. But can they hold up against Ohio State's offense also? You know, Penn State, I can trust that, okay, I know Penn State's got a defense and they can play with Ohio State. I'm not sure if Indiana's off defense can play with Ohio State. I'm still going to have to see that. I can't give them that. I can't give Indiana the benefit of the doubt on that. You know, their defense plays pretty well, but they haven't played anybody with Ohio State's caliber of offensive players. So I can't say that for sure. So this is really a prove it game for Indiana on offense and defense. You know, on offense and defense. They're going to have to prove it. You know, and you know I'm always watching Ohio State stuff. Ohio State, most of their fans, they looking to like it's a wrap for you. What up, Garrison? But yeah, it's Ohio State looking. Most of their fans looking like it's a wrap for you, Indiana. Shout out to Garrison, then big time. My brother, big time. He running it. He running the Ohio State voice of college football. Bro, that's just the car, man. I've been at work all day. He said the wave's lacking. I've been at work all day, bro. You wrong. You wrong. You wrong. Hey, I'm tired of Garrison. Hey, Garrison know what to say. See, most Ohio State fans, I can get the best of. Hey, Garrison know what to say to get me in my feelings. He know just what to say. Hey, them fighting words, brother. Hey, them fighting words, brother. Got me grabbing my brush. He know just what to say. You ain't right. You ain't right. Garrison know just what to say to get me in my feelings, boy. Got me, motherfucker, boy. Got me brushing hard. You ain't right, Garrison. You ain't right, bro. Hey, Garrison know what to say, and then he'll dip. He's slick. He'll say something to get me in my feelings or something, and then he'll dip. Got him, and then he'll dip off. You ain't right. But Ohio State, they fans feeling good, you know, because the fact that Michigan held Indiana to what, 20 or something. Ohio State looking like, oh, Michigan held them to 20. Oh, they barbecue chicken. Oh, Michigan held them to 20. Bet barbecue chicken. We got them. Finger looking good, you know. But yeah, they Ohio, and honestly, if we had to play Indiana and I saw Ohio State's defense hold them to like 20 or something like that, I'd be feeling the same way. You know, if we had like, I'm not gonna say this year, like last year, if Ohio State played Indiana and they held them in check like this, and we had to play them next, I'd be feeling confident too. Like, oh, Michigan held them to 20 something, to the low 20s. Oh, got them. We about to smack them. That's all I needed to see. Was that somebody with similar talent held them down like that. Yeah, so if I was an Ohio State fan, I'd be feeling confident too, getting ready for Indiana. I wouldn't be worried about them like that either. We're like, oh, okay, barbecue chicken. They had me nervous for a minute, but Michigan held them down. Ah, got them. We got them. We got them. Thank you, Michigan, for showing us that they ain't that. You know, and I think that's how most Ohio State fans are feeling. Like, oh, okay, Michigan held them down. We can hold them down, and we got a way better offense than Michigan, so they're cooked. You're cooked, Indiana. You know. Yep, gave him basically the blueprint, like, you know. So, yeah, if I was Ohio State, I'd be feeling confident going against Indiana right now. I mean, not that they weren't anyway, but the fact that you saw it, because it was kind of, you know, even though Indiana didn't play the toughest schedule, the fact that they were just blowing out everybody, like they might get down early and then blow the doors off of their opponent, it did give you the, oh, okay, they might be for real. They might be like that. And then, you know, Cignetti's bravado also adds to that. Like, oh, they might be that. But then, okay, and I saw a lot of Ohio State fans were commenting, you know, when Johnny, we're gonna see how y'all do against Indiana. Basically trying to see how Indiana would do against Michigan's defense, you know. And I think they came out of that game like, okay, bet, you know. So if I'm being honest, yeah, I want Indiana to beat y'all. If I'm being honest, yeah, I want them to beat y'all. Do I think they can do it? I don't think so. I don't think they can. Do I want them to? Yeah, I do. I want them to beat y'all. Indiana-Alabama matchup. Indiana-Bama matchup. I take Bama. Honestly. I'm not sure if they could handle what Jalen Milroe brings to the table. I mean, Indiana's defense plays pretty well, but I'm not sure if they're ready to deal with that. Dealing with Jalen Milroe when right now, Alabama's back is against the wall, same as Georgia. So you saw Jalen Milroe like, okay, we can't lose again. We might not make the playoff. We can't lose. So dealing with that when he's actually trying to be dynamic, that's hard to stop. You know, that's hard to stop. If I had to pick if they both got in the playoffs and played, I'd pick I'd pick Alabama. You know, just because it's Alabama. I'd pick Alabama. But those teams are against the wall. Georgia's back was against the wall. They got down 10-0 against Tennessee. Then they flipped the switch, similar to Ohio State when they played Penn State. Ohio State got down 10-0, and then they flipped that switch. Like, all right, let's go. You know, because that would be early to have that second loss. You know, if Ohio State lost to Penn State, you know, you don't want to lose that. Now your back is against the wall. You can't lose anymore. And that's what's going on with Georgia right now. You know, they got against the wall, and when they were down 10-0, I saw it out of Carson Beck when he was dropping back and he decided to run. He was running like this is it. And I said, oh, Georgia done woke up. They realized all their goals for the season are about to go down the drain. And then they focused in and they played like you expect Georgia to play, you know? So it's going to be interesting to see, can they sustain it? Because like Georgia and Bama, they're playing for the right now they're playing to get in. Their backs are against the wall. They can't lose anymore. They can't lose. So they're basically in playoff mode right now. Win or go home. So can they sustain that? You know what I'm saying? So if they do get in the playoff, you still have to sustain that. You've been playing with your back against the wall for weeks, way longer than most teams. Can you sustain that even when you get in the playoff? It's win or go home. We've been playing with our back against the wall for 3-4 weeks already. You know, can we keep going? That's what's interesting about this year is the new dynamic of being able to lose 2 games and still have your playoff hopes there. But now once you lose 2, your back is against the wall because you ain't making it with 3. You know, every once in a while somebody will make it with 3 losses, but it'll be those 2-loss teams really getting in. And that 3rd loss team will be on the outside looking in like let us in. Nah, you ain't getting in here, boy. You know? But that's the interesting thing about this year. You know, people were saying that the regular season wasn't going to be as good. The regular season wasn't going to be as good. It wasn't going to mean as much. We see that wasn't true. Regular season, it means something, you know. And it's good, you know. And I think the transfer portal has something to do with that, you know. The playing field is a little more even now, you know, with these transfer portal dudes going to smaller schools or schools that don't have as big of a budget, aren't as great at recruiting. But the regular season it's good. I mean, it's not that good for me personally because Michigan ain't doing that good, but as far as college football in general, hey, it's good. You know, it didn't take away from it for me. What you thinking? What up, Maniac? Oh, what you thinking? Sharon Moore? Let's talk about it. I guess I got about 10 minutes before I'm almost home. But I guess I really don't like talking about this. Like, it's so miserable to talk about this stuff for me. Sharon Moore and the staff. It's miserable right now because they're not good. Sharon Moore might not be that guy, you know, and we have to give him grace because he's a first-time coach. So we have to give him grace on his coaching growing pains. Y'all remember that show? Who old enough to remember the show Growing Pains? Yeah. So we have to give we have to give Sharon Moore grace on some of these head coaching mistakes he makes, you know, which we don't want to do. You know, some things we can give him grace on, but other things I just can't. I just can't do it. Fire that boy and die. Oh God, Corey Walton, let me get you out of here. Let me get you out of here with that nasty talk, boy. Some of these dudes is crazy, boy. But Sharon Moore is we got to give him grace on some of this stuff. You know, I don't want to on some of it, but I mean you have to. He's a first-time head coach. So you have to give him grace on some of this, but some of this stuff it's so egregious that it makes you think, are you really ready for this job? You know, are you really ready for this? And I'm hearing that some people think he's kind of a puppet for the higher ups at Michigan. Like they're grooming him. They're grooming him to be the kind of their head coach, how they want him to be or something, I guess you would say. Either way, I don't like it. You know, I don't really like that. But he's hired now. You can't hire somebody and only give them a year. That's the predicament. Even if he's not that guy, you don't want to turn off coaches. You can't fire somebody that fast, because you'll turn off that sets a bad precedent that Michigan will hire a dude and fire him in a year. It's just a bad look. So either way, you got to give him next year and possibly that third year. You know, if he doesn't show any improvement in certain areas next year, I would say fire him. That's me though. That's me. Because this offseason, you got to go crazy in the portal. Like, you got to go crazy in the portal. Like, you have to go crazy and really hit the portal this offseason. Especially quarterback, D-tackle, offensive line, wide receiver, maybe corner. Like, you got to go crazy in the portal with at some of these position groups. Offensive line, defensive line, wide receiver, quarterback, and corner. Those 5, you got to go crazy in the portal with. Maybe even safety. Well, maybe not safety. But you got to hit the portal hard. You know, and build a team that's and build a decent team. Fill in these holes that you have to give us a fighting chance, you know. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it wouldn't be the same. You know, they done hired him. The problem is you done hired him now. So you can't just fire him. Plus, you don't want to just throw that money down the drain. You want to give him a chance. You want to give him a chance. You want to give him the resources and the time to be successful. That's the biggest thing. You want to give him those 2 things. The resources and the time to be successful. But he has to show some semblance of promise. You got to show some promise. Because this isn't like other years or the past when you got a new coach where it was a long rebuild. You can rebuild a team fast with the portal. You know what I mean? So when you're losing a lot of talent, you just have to hit the portal hard. and hope that and hope that you're developing those good or decent recruiting classes, similar to Texas, like Texas, not exactly the same because they recruited way better than us at quarterback, but Texas lost a lot of talent last year. They lost almost as much as we did, but they filled those holes pretty well in the portal. So this offseason, Sharon Moore needs to do what Mel Tucker did. He needs to do what Signetti did. He needs to do what Sarkisian did and hit that portal hard to fill all those holes that you have. You got to hit it hard. You got to hit it hard, and not with guys that you're guessing or you're hoping. No, you got to get some studs. You got to get some studs at some of these positions. Wide receiver, you need a proven stud. You need a proven stud. You need some proven guys at these. Not question marks and I think he can translate at this level. You can bring some of those guys in, but those are depth guys. At some of these position groups, we need an instant starter at some of these in some of these positions. We need instant starters, not, he might be able to get in the rotation. No, you need some guys that are, okay, he's going to start. I see his career, his stats. He's in the portal. We need him to start this year. Not depth guys, A lot of these guys we got last year, a lot of the guys that we got in the portal last year that are playing right now, those guys they were depth guys. They shouldn't be starting. CJ Charleston, he didn't do really anything, and I don't blame him because the offensive guys, I can't really blame you dealing with Kirk Campbell, but like the defensive guys that we got, Amir Hall and Ricky Johnson, those were depth guys. Amir Hall, I thought he showed promise at first, but he's too slow. I see why he ain't starting. He too slow, or he could. He was really a depth guy. He's not a guy that you want to be playing like that unless it's the last resort, unless it was the last resort. They picked up a lot of depth guys like we were fully loaded and ready to go. Can't make that mistake again. The name of the game for this offseason is don't make the same mistake that you made last year. Learn from your mistakes. When you're losing a lot of talent, you got to get portal guys that can instantly help, that are filling these holes in their starter caliber. Their starter caliber. Not fifth corner caliber. Not fifth receiver caliber, starter caliber. Number 1 wide out, number 2 wide out, or number 3 wide out. You do not these guys that are, no, you can't do that again. Got it on cruise control. All I do is drive at work. Go to a store, stay there for like 25 minutes. Go to another store, stay there for about 20 minutes. Go to another store. That's all I do all day is drive on and off all day. But yeah, so you can't make the same mistakes. Do your due diligence, Sharon. Whether that's on players and All this ties into what I said at the beginning. That's why I don't want Michigan to play a bowl game. I really don't. Because I want him to have the time to find these portal guys, retain our roster, fire Kirk Campbell, fire J.B. Brown, get rid of these guys that you need to go, and hire the right guys. Have the time to do your due diligence. That's why I don't want. The 15 practices, that would be great. That would be nice if we didn't have so much other things that I needed to worry about. We got a long time before the season. Them 15 practices ain't gonna hurt nobody. I'm sorry. That's just my opinion. I could be wrong. But to me, they ain't gonna hurt them boys. 9-10 months away from the season. Them 15 practices ain't gonna hurt that bad. Sharon Moore got a lot on his plate to get right. Because I'll run out of excuses fast. You know, he got in the game late. We won the national championship, so we got in the transfer portal late. We got to retain our roster late. We got all this late stuff. I'm done with it. I don't like making excuses. So that's why. It's not about, for me, it's not about not playing a bowl game. I could care less if they play a bowl game, win it or lose it. That never made a difference to me, especially when the playoff. If you weren't in the playoff, it didn't really matter to me. It's all about the playoff anyway, to me. So it's not about us winning or losing a bowl game. It's about Sharon got a bunch of work to do. You don't need to be focusing on no bowl. Focusing on getting this program right. Focus on that. That's what I need his number one focus to be. Getting this program where it needs to be. Behind the scenes. That's just me, though. That's just me. You know. What else is going on? But yeah, Michigan in general, this Northwestern game, I mean, I want to beat Northwestern just to whatever. Like I'm kind of in a sunken place as the team with the team right now. If they win or lose to Northwestern, yeah, it's embarrassing, but we've been embarrassed most of this year, so that don't mean nothing to me right now. I want that Ohio State game. That's what I want. I'm already embarrassed by the season. I'm there already. I want the Ohio State game. That's what it means. That's what is everything to me. I want us to upset Ohio State so I can not see that arrogant grin that Garrison has, that arrogant grin that Josh from A House Divided has. All those Chris and Zach on Minister Sports, that arrogant grin that they have, I don't want to see it. I want them in shambles. I don't want to see that arrogance. I want that arrogance to fade away again. That's all I care about right now. I could care less, honestly. I could care less about winning or losing to Northwestern right now. I want that Ohio State game. That's all I care about right now. That's all I care about. Because they just too arrogant. I watch House Divided and watch Marcus, my boy Marcus. Shout out to A House Divided. Check them out. Subscribe. I'm on there. Marcus, who joins me on live call-in shows sometimes, and Josh. Josh is an Ohio State fan, and he has this arrogant grin about him all the time. And I hate it. I hate that arrogant grin. Garrison has it too. Garrison has it too. Both of y'all got it. I hate that arrogant grin that y'all have. Ooh, I hate it. I hate it. Ooh, that arrogant Ohio State grin. Oh my God, I hate it. Ooh, I hate that grin, boy. And y'all just have it and just I can't stand it, boy. Ooh, I hate it. That's all I care about. I want that game. We already embarrassed. I don't care if we lose to Northwestern. I really don't care. Because it's I said after week 3 it was possible we could lose to everybody. But I want the Ohio State game. I want that one. I want it. Because they're gonna be in shambles. And I need it. This year been bad. It's been a bad year. And if we beat them when we bad, it'll make up for everything. It'll make up for everything. Because they ain't going to be able to take it. They're going to want Ryan Day fired. They're going to be so mad. They're going to be talking so much crap, eating themselves, because somebody going to be blaming Chip Kelly. Somebody going to be blaming Ryan Day. Somebody going to be blaming Jim Knowles. Somebody going to want them all fired. Oh, I need it. I need that. Woo, Sharon, you give me that, boy, and hey, you gonna get more time in my book, cause I need that, cause they gonna be in shambles. They gonna be talking about, they gonna be eating themselves apart. They gonna be talking about, they gonna be talking about Denzel Burke. They gonna want him off the team. Trey Henderson gonna be soft, you know. They gonna eat themselves apart. And I need that. I need it. Like, come on, Sharon, just give me this. So I need you to call that Ohio State game, Sharon. I need you to call that game. Because I think Wink is gonna be able to keep it close somehow. It's gonna keep it close somehow. But I need the offense to chip in. I need them to chip in. I need that. So Sharon, I don't care what nobody say. You need to call that Michigan, that Ohio State game. You got to call that game, bro. That's just what it is. You got to call that game. Because they going to be going crazy. They lose that game. We beat Ohio State this year in the shoe. They're going to be throwing stuff on the field. They're going to be throwing stuff on the field, I promise you. Because that's the new fan thing. They're going to be throwing stuff on the field. Oh, boy. I need that one. Garrison, what you say? You need Mariah Carey? You boy, that was good. And that's Gen Z. I can't read it. The sun bright, but that's what I think. And that's why I need Sharon to call that game. I get it. If y'all want Kirk Campbell to be the scapegoat, I get it. But you got to call that. You got to call that Michigan Ohio State game. You got to call that game. You know, because I've seen Penn State hold them down on defense. I've seen Nebraska hold Ohio State down on defense. Don't tell me we can't slow them down on defense. Don't tell me we can't. So that's what I got. I appreciate the $50 super sticker, Town Health Services. I appreciate that. That's all I got for this one, y'all. Like, share, subscribe, and as always, go blue.